Okay, so here we see ourselves on the first module of information. So we see introduction to the introduction to data. That's where you clicked on this link to watch this video. We've got view and discuss. What do top students do differently? So this is a video discussion. This is a TED Talk. You've probably heard about TED Talks. You might have watched some. This is where they talk about, what do top students do that really sets them apart. A lot of students never really picked up good study skills. And this is addressed in this video. So it gives you some tips on things that are effective for students to work on and some things that students try to work on for studying that really aren't as effective. So what you're going to do here is you're going to watch this video and then you're going to follow these directions and you're going to respond to them. Now, I usually in these discussions give you an approximate word count. I don't really go through and count words, but that really is meant, I will if it's really short, then you will get dinged for not using enough, for not having a long enough discussion. But by the word count, if you're at 490 words, but you gave a really good response, that's okay. It's really just to let you know the level of depth that I expect you to have for that particular discussion. Sometimes I'm just looking for, a few sentences. In that case, I might recommend 100 words. Sometimes, like in this case, I want to hear some more in-depth information, so I'm recommending 500 words. So it just gives you an idea of how much response I'm looking for. Sometimes it's a couple sentences, sometimes it's 3 paragraphs. It just depends. So that's really, don't stress too much over the word count, but if it's recommended that you respond with 500 words and you respond with 350, then you probably, or even 400, then you probably did not really address the questions in the level of depth that I'm expecting you to. Okay, so it's just so you kind of know the expectations a bit. So read the information here, respond to these. Remember here, respond to 2 other students in a meaningful way. A lot of students end up missing points because they forget or whatever to respond to some other students. It's really kind of a bummer to take points off for that because I think sometimes people just forget or they forget to come back and respond to somebody. But you will end up missing points for that. So please remember, when you're done, just come back and read through here and make sure that you've done all the pieces so that I can give you full credit on the assignment. Okay. Up next, we've got setting up StatCrunch. So StatCrunch is statistical software that we're going to be using throughout this course. You got it basically for signing up for the class. So here's the directions on what you're going to do. But what you're going to need is an access code, and you get that on the next page. So if you click next and see how it says load first day course materials in a new window, I'm not going to click it because then my code will be exposed. But what you do is you click this, it's going to give you a code, and then you're going to go back to this page and follow these directions, use the code that you just got on that next page, and then you're going to be all set to use StatCrunch throughout the semester. You can use it for your homework. You can use it on your project. In fact, you will be using it on your project. All right, then, so in this course, you should never use AI for the assignments unless you are specifically told to use AI. In this case, I'm telling you to use AI. I give you a link to ChatGPT. If you have another AI that you like to use or you're subscribed to or something like that, feel free to use a competitor. It's just everyone knows ChatGPT or has heard of it, so I just use that one. Basically, what you're going to go is you're going to go in there and your prompt is going to be something along the lines of whatever your major is, you're going to ask it how that major uses statistics. So maybe you're going to be a civil engineer. Then you go in and ask ChatGPT, how does a civil engineer use statistics? And then it's going to give you this big answer. And then you're going to respond to it. So down here, I give you a sense of some directions. Make sure you read those. Right? What to address, approximate word count, and then you're going to respond to 2 other students. Okay, so make sure to do that. There's a video you're going to watch both at the beginning and the end of the semester, and I think what you'll realize is you understand a whole lot more of what he's talking about in this video at the end of the semester, but there's some interesting things in here to get you thinking about statistics, kind of some of the weird things that can happen with statistics, sometimes unethical things. People can use statistics for unethical reasons. One of the things I want you to take from this course at the end, hopefully, is that people will not be able to use statistics against you unethically, right? You'll be able to think out the statistical situation and not be taken advantage of because someone, because you don't really know the statistics. So follow the directions here. And then I introduce you to the project. So we're gonna work on the project. Whenever you see these discussions that start with the word project, that means it's ultimately something that's going to be a part of the project that you're going to be putting together at the end of the semester, the video project that you're going to be creating. So normally in a semester, what we would do is you would write your own survey questions, and then all my statistics classes would take them. But I only have one statistics class this summer, so that's not enough student responses. You'll learn, as you learn statistics, what that means is our sample size is really too small. It becomes problematic at that point. So what I'm going to do is take the survey from last semester, and you're going to take their survey, and then you're going to go through and you're going to pick the questions that you like, that you want to use for your project. And you can always change them later if you want. But just pick some for now. So you want 2 quantitative questions. That means things that are numbers and measurements. So for instance, how many minutes is your commute to work? Or how many units are you taking this semester? Or how many hours a week do you spend exercising? Questions like those are quantitative questions. They are numbers that are measurements of something. You want to pick 2 of those from the survey that you want to use. I'm going to release the data here in a few days after everyone's taken it, so then you'll have the data. You want to pick 2 qualitative/categorical questions. So that are questions that are, they very rarely they can be numbers, but in that case, it's numbers that are not measurements. So, for instance, like your phone number is a number, but it's not a measurement. Right? Your social security number is a number, but it's not a measurement. But we're not really going to use stuff like that. It kind of gets into areas that are not going to be helpful to us. Normally, categorical or qualitative questions are things that are like categories. So, for instance, what is your hair color? Right? We could ask someone that question, and the answer is you'd make people choose from what? Blonde, brown, red, right? Just a few basic colors, and then everyone would fall in one of those categories. Hence, categorical data, sometimes called qualitative data. So you're going to pick 2 of those from the survey that you like, and then you're going to pick one binary question. So a binary question is one that has exactly 2 answers. So true, false, yes, no, agree, disagree, day, night, something like that, right? Where there's just binary answers, just 2 answers that you can choose from. And then with those questions, you're going to be able to apply everything we learned throughout the course to those survey results for those particular questions. So your assignment here is to go through, take the survey, and then in the discussion below, you're going to say which questions you chose that you want to analyze throughout the semester, and you're going to say why you chose them. It's not a big deal why you chose them. Just if it's exercise, say, I'm an athlete and I really like exercise. I'm really interested in it. So I chose questions about exercise, right? You don't have to go real deep with it. And then down here, I have an example of what a student did in a previous semester. Her video is quite long. Your video does not need to be anywhere as long as hers is. But she did a really good job formatting and setting up her video. So I wanted you to have an example of what a good video is for the project. And you can always come back later throughout the course and look at this and see what she did. Now, she does make a few math mistakes along the way. If I remember right, maybe she doesn't do hypothesis testing exactly right. I'm trying to remember. So don't necessarily she did pretty good overall, but don't necessarily learn the math from her. But what I'm showing you this video is what the expectations are that, you can get ideas for how she presented things, how she formatted her video, stuff like that. And then you can, sort of decide how you want to do yours based on that. Okay. And then at the end here, we have a question and answer discussion. So this assignment is actually worth 0 points, but you can still earn points for doing it, effectively giving yourself extra credit. So anytime you have a question in the course, if you have a question from the homework, what the best way to do this would be to go in, take a screenshot of your problem, because everyone's homework is slightly different and sometimes they're in a different order. So you can't just say, oh, problem number 3. Someone else could have a different problem number 3. So post a screenshot of your work. And then, of course, people want to know that you've worked on it a little bit. You sort of contribute by saying, what have you done so far? So I tried this problem. I keep trying it this way. It's giving me this answer. I think the answer is this, right? Explain what you have done to try to make sense of the problem. And I will look at these occasionally and go through and see if I can help people along a little bit. But if another student in the course comes through and answers your question and they do a good job of it, that student will earn extra credit towards their grade. Okay, so for each question that a student answers well, right, so it's the first student to answer the question in a really good way, right, so it's kind of the first best answer, right? If you come in, 5 people aren't going to get credit for the same question, but if you come in and you answer someone's question and you did you did a good job explaining it to them in a way that I thought answers the question correctly, then I will give you some extra credit towards your grade. So you can earn lots of extra credit, right? If you answer 5 questions in here, you're going to get extra credit 5 times that you can accrue. Okay, so that's helpful. So that's basically what the first module is composed of. So you can get started on that. I will be releasing the remaining modules in the coming days. I have some videos to make for each one. Once I get those up, I will start releasing the modules. So you can actually start a lot of these modules early. I'm not necessarily going to wait to release them all. I'm just waiting till I have them fully completed, and then you'll be able to start that. So I'm hoping to have the next module released sometime either Monday or Tuesday, hopefully Monday, but possibly Tuesday, and then you can get started on that. So if you want to work ahead in the course, you can absolutely do that. Like if I've got a busy weekend coming up, I'm going on vacation, you can work ahead and get that work done ahead of time, so you don't get behind on your weekend vacation or whatever. And one more thing that I'm going to add in here is a set of notes that you will use those notes in order to go through. You should read through the textbook and you'll pick up the information from there. The videos that you watch, you'll fill things out. You'll write things in those notes, and then you're going to have the basics of what you need from this introduction on data, like when you go through and do the homework and stuff like that. You'll have it all taken care of. So it's not in here yet, but I will be adding that guided notes right in here. Thanks. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, please contact me over here in the Canvas inbox. It's much better than email to get a hold of me that way. And if you need to, we can set up a Zoom meeting, and I can help you out with whatever you need to be successful in the course. Thank you.